about eating disorders. And stereotypically, we might think eating disorders only impact young, skinny, white women, but that misconception means often that people of color are not getting the help that they need. So this morning, we are talking about this with Jillian Lampert, who is the Chief Strategy Officer for the Emily program here in Seattle. That's a national program that helps people and families dealing with eating disorders. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
So we were just kind of chit-chatting back and forth about that stereotype. I mean, when you think of eating disorder, you think of a teen or a young woman, white, usually with an eating disorder, but you're saying that is not the case.
That is not the case.
And the statistics are a lot different than we think.
Yeah, when you ask kids if they use a set of disordered eating behaviors, they skip meals, they use laxatives, they use diet pills, they throw up after eating, the kids who say they do that the most tend to be Native American kids and Hispanic kids. And then the Caucasian kids are third in that list.
So where is the disconnect here? Why do we have this misconception? Where is this stereotype coming from?
I think there's two disconnects. One is it has a lot to do with insurance. So if you have, it has a lot to do with socioeconomic status. If you have good healthcare insurance and you present to a treatment clinic, you're likely to get good treatment. If you don't have as good of insurance, which disproportionately impacts communities of color, then you're less likely to be able to access care. So we don't see people coming in as much, people of color coming in as much because they may not have awareness and/or they may not have the insurance that they need in order to get good comprehensive treatment. But the other piece, I think the bigger awareness piece is that there's so much weight bias and weight teasing and weight focus that if you don't live in a thin, lean body, people don't tend to think about eating disorders with you. But most people who have an eating disorder don't live in a thin body or you can't tell they have an eating disorder. So in the wide range of population, the people who end up with eating disorders the most are people who are living in normal weighted bodies or living in larger bodies. And we tend to overlook that. And so as we think about the whole swath of the population, if we overlook that and you don't have very good insurance, then how will anybody identify this as a problem?
I was going to say, that's a lot of different factors that could be affecting this. So how do you treat this? What's the remedy for this?
I think the remedy is really asking questions that any primary care physician, let's take that, sort of a pediatric office or a primary care physician office, if they asked a couple questions of every kid that came in and every adult, how's your relationship with food? How do you feel about your body? Even those two questions, and knew what to do with the answers, because people might say, oh, it's fine, or I don't know, what do you mean? But if you dig into that a little bit, like, how do you feel about that? Oftentimes people are like, I hate my body, or I don't like it, or I want to do X, Y, Z with my weight, to at least start the conversation, because then you can start to build awareness and start to build connection with that person, instead of saying, well, I see on this chart your BMI is above normal, whatever normal is, and you should lose weight. That's not very helpful for people, and it also often misses a whole lot of people who are struggling with eating disorder behaviors.
And actually that kind of led to my next question was, this sounds like it is harder to diagnose and harder to treat because you have all of these boundaries.
Right. And if an additional piece of that is you're only thinking, oh, I need to think eating disorders in my underweight or maybe appearing underweight people, that's not going to be helpful. You have to ask everybody because you'll get a lot more answers.
All right. So, I mean, when we talk about all these different issues arising here, I mean, from insurance to, communities of color, what are some of the resources that you folks at the Emily program have for this?
Yeah, the first quick resources on our webpage, just emilyprogram.com, is a little quiz. You click on the quiz and it asks 5 or 6 questions about your relationship with food and how you feel about bodies. It's a great starting place, so we encourage people to go there, take the quiz, see what your answers are, and then you'll get follow-up of, I think you need some help or you need to explore this further, which you can do at the Emily program or with your doctor or with some other community resource. But at least identifying that there might be a problem is definitely the first step.
All right, and that website one more time.
emilyprogram.com.
Jillian, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. Thank you.